Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. For today, we are going to discuss looping statement. Now, uh, from based on what we have been doing so far previously, it's about the from sequence to selection structures, which we are actually able to create basic decisions, making our programs a little bit smarter than the way it was before. So this time, it's going to be uh, to execute a certain statements or multiple number of statements, and once a certain condition is met, then that's the time the probably that specific block will end or a program might end. So that's basically looping statement. So there are actually a lot of scenarios that there are actually a lot of things you we can relate loopings in in a real world situations. Like for an instance, when we were in our elementary days, I have this uh, classmate who bullied one I have this one classmate who bullied. I mean, bullied a one of my classmates too, and then basta gibully niya and ana lang. And then after that, they were called sa principal's office, and then katong guilty, katong nagbully ang gipabuhat siya is he was asked to write 100 lines of codes of 100 lines of uh, 100 lines of words saying I don't do it again, I don't do it again, I don't do it again. And that's a lot of words repeating, no, repeatedly done. I mean, that's how repetition is, that's how looping statement is. You only stop if it only if it reaches to certain condition. Okay, so that's how loop. So we have different types of loop. Okay, so this one is looping. Let's start with while statement. While loop. Okay, yeah. So looping statement is a process of repeating a certain or a multiple number of statements the n times based on a certain condition, and once the that condition is met, is it's going to stop a certain block or a certain program. Okay, so let's say for an instance, we are going to take that scenario that I have shared. You write a certain statement instead of writing a statement. Okay, instead of writing a statement over and over again that you don't do it again. I don't do it again, and then by simply like how you wish now if you have that copy paste in using pen and paper, so you can do it that way. But what if you don't have? So you have to type and type and type and write and write and write until 100. So 100 lines of this one. So imagine how hard it is. Imagine how Basta imagine how hard it is for you to do it. So this time, loop is actually used for executing this statement by just having only having a single certain lines of codes. By so of course this would give you 100 lines of codes. But what if you want it like to only write this one once, and then you are going to repeat the process by using loop. Okay, so let's say you have here sorry, why I'm using loop for loop. So you have while let's say we have uh let's say this is loop is equal to 1, and then while okay, so this is like loop is less than or equal to 100. Don't you worry, I'm going to discuss to you that one later on. I will elaborate more on that. And then you will have to have loop plus plus Then let's try to run the program. So it says that you have here repeated words. I don't do it again in 100 times by just actually writing once. Okay, and then if you want to, if you want to have a, like, uh, how if this particular line is up to, what line is it now? So you can actually do something like that. So yeah, so we have here one, two, three, and where is it? So we have one, I don't do it again, two, I don't do it again until it reaches to 100. So that's how loop. It makes our life easier because you don't have to repeat the same process of doing it the same, no? The same process of doing it the same. Yeah, the same way of writing it. I mean, it will now become easier for you because you only write this statement once, and then using the loop, it just keeps on repeating the statement until a certain condition is met. So that's how loop is. So it's basically, so as you can see, another here, it's relational operators. It's like a series of if statement. No, it's a series of if if statement. No, it's a series of if else if statement. Now, as what I've said, if you're able to read, know how to read less relational operators, then you will find it easy. I mean, you will find this one easy to understand. Okay, it's basically an if statement. You just keep on asking yourself, is one less than or equal to 100? That's true. And then if it's true, it execute the statement, and then this here is the incremental process, which is the one is added by one. So that's one from one. The loop is from one, it becomes two, and then the loop will become two. It compares to 100. Is it true? Yes, it is still true. It's still, again, it's the same with if else. It's a series of if else, only that it's a loop. Okay, and then it will execute the second loop, and then the loop will be now, from 2, 2 plus 1, it becomes 3, and then compare, increment, compare, increment, compare, display, increment, compare, display, increment. So that's basically the uh, the while loop. So here's the syntax. So the syntax for while loop is, first is you have the while statement, and then you have the expression. So this is an example of expression. The expression is going to be uh, evaluated to either true or false. You you can have, actually, you can actually not include this one, but as I've said in the if discussion, it would be better if you group things together, if, for like sense of ownership or for exclusivity, that this group of statement right here is actually part of while statement, and that's how Java actually teach us. No, there's this scope of the block of statements because of this uh, curly braces. So after that, you have the whatever statement, no, statements. So statements, this is an example of statement or a statements. Okay. And then the increment. The increment or the pwede siya decrement, or something like the update of the value. So this is the very reason that we get to parang the loop will update its value, no? So the expression, the statement, and then the increment and decrement. That's the basic syntax of loop. But it has to, don't forget to have the initial value. Because if you don't have initial value, then your loop doesn't have the basis for doesn't have the basis, no? So again, that's the syntax for while loop. Okay, so you have the initial value, the expression, of course, the while keyword, and then the statement or statements, and then the increment and decrement, this which is this one. So let's have now. So if you don't include something like increment statement right here, actually this would give you an infinite loop. So it will not stop, no? So sana all inana, no? Ang feelings niya para sa tuwa. It won't stop no matter long how long it is, how o basta anyway. Okay, so let's start. At this time, we are going to focus on the while loop. Okay, so let's erase, and erase this one. So what we are going to do right now is, let's say we want to display numbers. Let's say we have here, let's start with the first number. So this is the initial value. So in a while loop, this is very important because this will set the starting value, no? Starting. So when our value should start, so it's going to be starting with 1. So, and what is the variable? It's the x. So after that, you have here while. So you will now put right here the expression. So here is the expression. In the expression, again, it's either true or it's a false. If it's true, continue. So again, pag true, true, pag true, continue. Continue doing the loop. No, it's continue doing the statement or execution of a statement. If false, it means stop the loop. Okay, so let's say our expression is less than or equal to 10. So, and in the expression, you will also see here the, so if we have the initial value, what I actually tell my students in reading a loop. So you read it this way, that you have the initial value, and then the expression is something like the stopping value. So I actually tell them that. So this is the stopping value or the stopper, no? Stopping value. Ayan. So we have the starting value and we have the stopping value. So meaning to say, the starting value is 1, the ending value is 10. So expected that we start at 1 and we expect to end at 10. Okay, that's basically that's how you actually read based on the expression. And then it will now depend on what's the expression all about. And I'm pretty much sure you know how to read this one, that 1 is less than 10. And until this one is true, it will keep on repeatedly executing the statement right here. So let's say for an instance, we are going to display here a number of like at the x value with the with space each until 10. So this is the statement. Okay. And now you have the increment and decrement. So since we expect to display numbers from 1 to 10, therefore, we have to do the increment value. So this is the increment or decrement. Again, increment going up, decrement going down. So basically, since we use plus plus, it's going to be increment. It's meaning the 1 plus 1. It's actually similar to this one. Wait for a while. So x plus 1 is actually similar to x plus equal to 1, or x is equal to x plus 1. Okay? So x plus plus is incrementing value by 1, which is similar to x plus is equal to 1, or x is equal to 1. Okay? Now, the increment or decrement is something that I'll give you as I name it as an update value. So you have the starting value, you have the stopping value, and then you have the update value. In that sense, even though you don't read there's even though you don't read the entire condition, the entire loop or the entire code, you have now the pattern. So what's the pattern? You start with one, and then it displays the value. Okay, so meaning it displays the value, which is basically it displays one, because that's the first value of x. And then after it displays the value, then you have the increment or the update of x. And it says that the update is incrementing by one. So basically the next statement, the next value would be two. And then it gets to compare again in the expression and evaluated to true because 2 is less than or equal to 10. Therefore, since it's true, next is it is going to display this one as 2. The x will be incrementing by 1. That is, it becomes 3. So 3 is less than 10. So 3 na to siya. 3 is less than 10. And then after that, i-display niya ang 10. After that is increment niya ang 10. Ano? 3, i-display niya ang increment niya ang 3, it becomes 4. So that's basically the counting of numbers from 1 to actually 10. So when it reaches to 10, 10 is less than or equal to 10. That's true. Then it displays the value 10. And then after that, x plus plus, that becomes 11. So when it goes back to the expression of while, then here you have 11 is less than or equal to 10. And I believe so that is false, because so once 11 na siya, it's now false. Therefore, what will happen? The loop will stop and it displays numbers from 1 to 10. So now to give you a, a much detailed, uh, okay, let's do it in a much detailed na pagka-code or pagka-trace. Okay, so let's say for an instance, you have, so these are the things, no, that is going to happen in, that are actually happening in behind this code. So let's say for an instance, you have the x, this is your x value, this is the expression, this is the expression value, so it's equal to 10, and then you have right here the output. Okay, and sige, din lang natin ibutang ang output. So output is SOP, let's say X. So basically like that. And then, sige, let's say for an instance, okay, para maisa na to. And then we have here an increment, which is X plus plus. So this is what is going to happen inside of our, I mean behind our codes. So you have, when X is 1, that's 1. So you have an expression here is 1 less than or equal to 10. That's actually true. So it prints the value of x, which is 1. And then here, x plus plus, the x is going to be added by 1 or incremented by 1. This will become 2. Okay. So it goes back to, so this one right here, dili na siyang balik diri ha. It goes back to the expression. So actually, pwede na natin siya dili ano ang x diri. Anyway, it goes back to the expression, and this time it will give it will have the expression saying 2 is it going to be 2 less than or equal to 10. That's still true. It becomes and it prints 2, and then this one is, it becomes 3. And then when it is 3, pagbalik dito sa loop, less than or equal to 10, still true. And then this will display 3. And then you have here 4. So basta so on and so forth. So basically, you have here until let's say you have here, let's say this is now let's say, of course, this is now 10. So when it is 10, uh it displays the, I mean when it is 9, okay, when it is 9, So 9 is less than or equal to 10. That's still true. So basically, i-display niya ang 9 and then it becomes, wait, it becomes 10. So after that, 10 is going to be is less than or equal to 10. That's still true. And then it displays the 10 and then the x will become 11. After that, it goes back to the loop for this is for the last time because 11 is less than or equal to 10. That is now false. That's in false. Okay, so when it is false, it will now exit this block. So meaning to say, the loop now is going to end. So leaving us with printing numbers from 1 to 10. But this time, you have to follow what's the output statement. It's going to be printing the X with a separator of one space along with the others, but this time it's not going to be something like this one in per line basis. So basically ang output nato would be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So let's try to run this one. And there you are, you're able to actually display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's for this one. So let's have another example. Okay, so let's erase this one together, June. So let's erase this one. Let's say we want to let's say get the sum of a number. So let's say for instance we have x value here 1, and then you have a sum equals, let's say sum is equal to 0. Okay, and then we are going to, let's say, mm, while, and then we have here x is less than or equal to 10, and then after that we are going to increment of let's get to have the sum is equal to x, or something like sum is equal to sum plus x. Actually, that's the and then x plus plus. Okay, so sometimes most learners or novice no na mga programmers is going to read this one as like printing all the integers from 1 to 10. But actually, this one, if you try to look at it, it doesn't have any output statement inside of a loop. So therefore, it is not going to actually print the numbers. But they actually forget to, read it as let's say the output statement is going to be written here. So the sum, let's say the sum of n from 1 to 10 is going to be is let's say is sum. So basically that's this there's only one output here, and it is expected to be the sum of n from 1 to 10 is the sum, but the process is going to be like this. So inside of your before we run actually the program, let's have let's read this the way the way we did it like before. Let's say for an instance we have here our uh, x less than or equal to 10, and then you have here sum plus is equal to x, and then you have the increment of x. So initially the start is going to be, so from there you can also see that the starting value is 1, that is, and then it's going to be up to the value is going to 10. So basically 1 to 10. So pwede na ta mag-ihap na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then after that, you have the increment also. The increment is, or the update is actually 1 or by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gihapon siya until 11. And then you have here the process. The process goes like this, that every time the loop is going to happen, the sum is going to be updated by the value based on the value of x. Therefore, when so sum is zero, every time this happens, so the x from 1 to 10 will be added to sum. Okay, so basically in aning mahitabo. So since this one is like is x is less than or equal to 10. So you have that expression. So probably we start with 1 is less than or equal to 10. That's true. So in the sum, it's like this is what happens. So 0 plus 1, which is the value of x is 1. It's actually 1. And then you have here 1 for the increment of x. I mean 2 rather. So then after that, it goes back to the while the expression. And then here you have 2 less than or equal to 10. That's true. Okay. And then after that, you have here what's the last value of our sum. The last value of our sum is actually 1. So basically 1 plus what is the value of x? The value of our x is actually 2. Therefore, this is now 3. And this the last value of our x is now 4. Sorry, the last value of our x is 2. It becomes 3. Okay? Ang keyboard nako, sorry. Kailangan palitan na ni siya og bago kay medyo maguna-una siya. Taka lang og type. Okay, so you have here, okay, our last value of x is 3, then you'll have here 3 less than or equal to, let's say you have here 10, it's still true, and then after that, you have here, let's say, the last value of our sum is 3 plus the value of our x is 3, so 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, okay? So after that, the last value of our x is 3, then it will increment by 1, it becomes 4. So basically, ano na po siya dre, sa atong expression, going to compare to 10, it's still true, and then the last value of our sum is actually 6. Therefore, you will use the x plus the last value of our x is 4, which is 6 plus 4 becomes 10. So this now becomes 5 because it will increment by 1. After that, it goes back again to the expression 5 is less than or equal to 10. That is now true. So this time, the last value of our sum is actually 10. So 10 plus 5 is going to be 15. And then the last value for our x is now 6. Okay? Now, if you keep on repeating this process, this would become 6 less than or equal to 10. That's true. This is now 15 plus, let's say this is, the last value of x is 6. This is 6. This is 21. And this is now 7 because it increments by 1. And then this is 7 less than or equal to 10. This is true. I'm sorry. I just laughed I mean, happy lang ko, no? So, pasag din ako. Okay, so we have here 21 plus 7, the last value of x. This is 28, and this is 8. And then, basically, balik siya diri sa ato ang statement where it has this, it reads again, the expression saying is if it's 8, it's less than to true. And then you have here 28 plus 8, which is actually pila 36, no? So you have here 9, and then you have here 9 less than or equal to 10. That's true. So you have 36 plus 9. Sorry, mali na po ang keyboard. So we have here 45, and this now becomes 10. 10 is greater than or equal to 10. That's true. And then 45 plus 10 is actually 55. And your, sorry, ito na siyang ibutang dili kay medyo paraliglibo. So your x now would increment the value to mag-add siya by 1. 10 plus 1 is it becomes 11. So the last value is 11 less than or equal to 10. That's false. So end na. Okay, tama na. Okay, so it reaches or it already met the condition that it's actually false. Therefore, ang atong last value for sum is 55. So, mao na ni ang last value for sum. Wala man tayo gi-display, no? So, basically, wala tayo gi-display. The last value of our sum is 55. Therefore, moingon siya that the sum of n from 1 to 10 is, or yeah, n for number is actually dapat 55. Okay? Let's run or let's try. Let's see if tama. So the sum of n from 1 to 10 is 55. Now, I would like to prove to you that the last value of x is actually 11. So we can actually display it right here, like x uh, equals, let's say, x. So we can actually prove that internally we only see 10, but the last value of x is actually 11. You know, you see right here. Now, what if you want to, you want to display these things right here? If what's really happening inside is if tama ba ito ang pag-read. So you can actually do this by uh, creating a statement right here. Let's say, uh, you have here an output statement. Sorry. Where is this? Oh, anyway, so you have here an output statement, and then let's say we have here, it's going to be, kanisya, no, na series, kanina series, dire. Dira true, dapat true, ana. So, pwede nato na siya i-read as this one. So, x is less than or equal to 10. Okay. I-ano na to, if i-read na to siya. Oops, is let's say plus x is less than or equal to 10. So basically, i-display niya ni, and then display niya either true or false. And then you have here the sum. And then, so the answer for sum is, let's say, plus sum. And then you have here, sorry. If you want to have a like this, you can actually display this one or something like do this way, no? Sum plus x. Yeah, we can actually do that. Sige, ato na sa ilahi para plus, ano na lang nato, separate na lang nato siya. And then, di nato siya matangan og print line. Okay. There na okay, so right there you have, let's say, so what we will do here is it's going to be sum plus uh, equal sum plus equals the value of x. Okay, then plus equals to plus equals to saan ako? Equals ano? Sum plus equals to sum plus equals to x is going to be sum plus equals to x. Yan. And then after that, we are going to display the value of like the x, we have, sorry, we have x equals uh, plus sign, which is this time you have x. Yeah, so let's say, wala tayo print line. So, wait. Butang ta diri og, yeah, ibutang nato siya print line. So, print line, ano, dili nato siya i-print line. System.out. Oh, what happened? Anyway, so, kapoy type. So, let me have a print line statement here. Okay, so basically the output would be okay. Alright, butahan na to siya og parang backslash t para we have a better view of like okay. So yeah, there you are. You have tangan sa nato need to read more of this one like backslash. No, it's going to be right here, another backslash t para mag-match ang one kaning silang x. And then only once no, mali ko. So yeah, tama and then dere would be this is the x, no? So backslash t and then the x for mm, yeah, so how do we anyway, sige kana mao na siya. Basta kana. So we have here uh yeah, baliktad lang atong pag-read ganina but it's the same thing which is mo ng x less than or equal to 10 true, 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 true. And then the false is not actually included because it's not part of the loop anymore. So unless we put it right here at the out of the while loop. So ayan. So that's actually what happens inside of our program. Okay. So that's how it is. That's how looping statement does the process of I mean, yeah, no? What else? What else? Isa pa may na-miss na ko. Okay, so let's have another example. Let's say we are going to let's see this one. So let's try. I'm going to give you a value. Let's say 2, and then we have y is equal to let's say 3, and then so let's say we have um, x or y is equals to greater than to 0 and then y minus. And then you have here, let's say val is equal to, let's say 1, and then val plus equals to the value of x. I know it's going to be this one. So before we are going to, uh, before we are going to display it, so i-display na tong val, but before we are going to run this one, let's read our program. So you have the initial, you have here 3. So in this case, it's going to be decrement now. So it's going to start with y, which is 3, up to 0, decrementing. No? So let's start with, okay, let's start with, this time baliktad na. Hindi na mag-start sa ano. So good. So you have the and the x is not going to update its value, so it's always 2 kasi wala nato siya gigamit na nato siya for multiplying it to val. So basically mo ni ang atong ano is y is greater than 0. Okay, and then after that you have here something like val times equals to the value of x, and then after that you have here another y minus minus, which is an incremental value. So basically this is what happens. So 3 is greater than 0, that's true, equal rather, so that's true. Then and in the val you have here val, the value of val is actually 1. So 1 times the value of the x, which is 2, it's actually 2. And then decrement by decrement by 1. So this time, the 3 is going to be 2 now. Na 2 now siya. So 2. After that, you have here 2 greater than or equal to 0. That's still true. And then the value of val is now 2 times the value of x, which is 2, is going to be 4. And then this now would become 1. So basically 1 is greater than or equal to 0. That's still true. And then the value of our val is now 4 times 2 is now 8. And this is 0. Okay. Then you have here a 0 greater than or equal to 0. That's still true. Yeah. So dapat less than lang siya. Okay, i-less than lang nato ni siya, i-less than, no? I-less than. Bitaw, i-less than lang nato ni siya. No, less than ha, not i-less than. Less than 0 to 0 is true. And then, yeah, 0 is less than 0 is false. And then it's going to be false. Therefore, the last value of our val is actually 8. And it seems like ang val ato ang display dire, dapat the last value of our val is actually 8. So if we are going to run this one, it's actually, the value is actually 8. Okay, and that's the same thing right here. So actually, the one that we are trying to do right now, it's actually a replica of math.pow. So which is system.out math.pow, let's say the value of x raised to the power of the value of y. So it's actually like that. So in this case, the with the math.pow, it's the return value of this one is actually double. So it has eight. It's actually going to have 8.0. Sorry, what happened? You have here, kasi the value is now going, the value is updating. So careful ta on this one, because the x now, the y now becomes actually 0. It's actually 0. So let's have it right here. So first, before actually the y is going to update, so it's going to be 2 raised to the power of 3, which is actually 8. But this time it's this with decimal point. So yeah, 8.0, and then this one is the replication, or parang, yeah, it's a simulation of math.pow. So we are able to actually, so I'm not saying this is the code for math.pow, but it seems it's something that is similar to this one. I just in case, no? I mean, if mo na to ni siyang double, uh, that's actually the focus of ADT, no? So this is the abstract POW. The method is actually an abstraction of only calling them X and Y, and then you don't actually have to know what's inside of this. But as long as you know how this one actually, what's the goal or role of this one, then by calling it, you are able to display the value that you desire, or you would like to achieve. In that sense, we actually do a parang, it's, yeah, we can call it a reverse engineer of math.pow, which is, I'm not saying this is the code for that math.pow, but it seems like same an output. Okay, we can actually do some more. Let's say you have 9. Let's say if it's still the same, yeah, it's still the same. So our program is consistent. Okay, so that is for while loop. Another example is, normally what I have here is actually a parang, only it decrements 1 and it increments 2. So what if we are going to like increment by 2 or by 3 or by 4 or by 5? So basically, this is how you do it. Let's say int num, or let's say num na punta is equal to 1. And then you are going to have here num less than or equal to, let's say, 20. 20 social, okay? And then after that, you are going to see, you want to see the update of the value, let's say num, and then you are going to update num is equal to 2. So meaning it, instead of mag-increment siya by 1, mag-increment siya by 2. So probably ang out display this one is going to be, so ang pattern ana is mag-start siya by 1, okay? And then probably mag-end siya by 20, okay? So mag-end dapat siya by 20. Okay. Pero it's not always that case, ha. Pwede siya na ang 20 depende sa iyang increment na dili na ni siya ma-appeal. Let's say for an instance, for this code above, you can actually, the increment is by 2, so meaning from 1. So ato na lang duhaon, ha, for a while. So this is the value of num, okay, and this is the value of num less than or equal to 10. Okay, wait lang for a while. And this is the value of num plus equals to 2. So let's say, ani atong buhaton. So when num is 1, true siya. So because i-compare nimo siya by sa 10 less than ba siya, that's true. So basically ang mahitabo here is 3 because 1 plus 2 is now 3. Pero dapat na-display siya, wait, na-display dire, no? So SOP. So basically ang display dire is with print line siya, di na nato i-print line para, so you have here, let's say, display niya first muna ang 1. When this one is true, display niya ang 1. And then the increment value is now, it will now becomes 1 plus 2 is now 3. Then after that, so 3 na siya. 3 less than 10, that's still true. And then after that, display niya ang num, which is ang value ni num last time is 3. Yan, okay? And then mag-increment ang num by 2, which is this one here, no? Kani. So 3 plus 2 is now 5. So ang value sa ato ang num is 5. Di na nato ni 10, ano ba? I-10 na nato siya. Okay? At 10 man jud dapat, no? 10 or 10. Okay. So mali na po ng keyboard, no? Pasensyain niyo ang keyboard. Nako, palitanan siya. So I hope somebody will is going to send me a keyboard. Bitaw. So joke lang. So yeah, asa naman ka? Let's back where we left off. So we have here 5. So 5 less than or equal to 10. That's true. Therefore, this would be last value of num no, is 5. So i-display niya ang 5. And then after that, internally, mahimo na siyang 7. So, i-compare na po ni si 7 to 10. Is it less than 10 or equal to 10? That's true. So, after that, i-print niya ang 7. And then after that, the 7 plus 2, 7 plus 2, well, it yields to 9. Then after that, 9 is less than or equal to 10. It's true. And then after that, 9. Okay, display niya ang 9 and then this will become 11. Okay? So, ato siya, balik siya dito in this expression. So, 11 is 11 less than or equal to 10. So, that is false. Okay? So, this time, mag-end na ang loop. Then, ang display niya is, dapat kani ang display 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It's actually add numbers. So, this is what I am trying to, elaborate in here earlier. Naiba ko, the number starts at 1. So, na starting value. And then we have the expression. Normally, ang expression is the stopping value. I'm saying last time na 1, 2, 3. And then it's going to end actually at like 10. So, and it's not always that's the case na ang display would be from 1 to 10 because it depends on the increment and it depends on actually the output. And see, it seems like the output is the num every time you added, you incremented or you added by 2 to it, no, to 2 to num. And that's going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Ayan, 1, 3, 7, 9. So yeah, it's like that. So you can also do or parang you can also create a program in a similar way that has like if condition for this one, let's say for an instance you want to have na sige, another program na lang. Another here na lang. So, in a separate, in the next line na lang, we have num is equal to 1. Balik siya sa 1 to 10. But this time, increment lang ta by 1. And then, what we will do is, we will have a condition saying if, let's say you have num modulus to 2 is not equal, so not equal to 0. So, i-display lang niya tong number when it is divided by 2 and the remainder is not equal to 0, i-display lang to niya na number. So, basically, ang mahitabo here is, wait, num, 1, 2, what happened? Okay. Wait. 10 to less than 0. If num modulus to 2 is not equal to 0, yeah, it's 1 modulus to 2 is not equal to 0. That's 1. So it prints the num plus plus. So what happened? It's supposed to be or to have, wait for a while, supposed to have the same. Yeah, we already have. Only that we don't have here. We will have here print line para it separates the values. So duha na itong output. Yan. So there you are. This is the output of the first one is the output of this one. Well, the second one is actually the output of this one. So it arrives the same output, but the goal, but the process of or the way of doing it is different. Okay. So in terms of the consistency, both. But in terms of efficiency, this one is a little bit, uh, it's a little bit efficient, no, regardless of even if i-calculate pa na to yung time and space complexity. Now, based on that, it's kasi this one, it has to parang like this one, ang increment niya is from by 2. So meaning, by 2 ang increment, it's only going to be like ang looping niya is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times lang niya i-execute ang statement sa above. But in here, since ang increment, ang starting value niya is 1, which is the same po ng expression, but the increment value is updating its value to 1 or nag-increment siya by 1. So meaning to say, ang incremental niya is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or incrementation niya is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And every time mag-increment siya or mag-ano siya loop from 1, i-compare niya tong 1 modulus to 2 if it's not equal to 0. So meaning basically, every number from 1 to 10 is i-divide niya by 2. If ang remainder niya is not equal to 0, i-print niya. So let's say 1. 1, since pag-divide niyo mo by 2, the remainder of 1 is not equal to 0, it prints the num. So that's why i-print niya ang 1. So next 2. So mag-increment siya, mahimo siyang 2, i-divide niyo ang 2 by 2, ang remainder niya is actually 0. So basically, 0 is not equal to 0. That's why it's false. So dili niya i-display. But, gi-read niya, pero dili niya i-display. So continue siya diri, it becomes 3. So 3 modulus to 2, pag-divide nimo, ang remainder niya is 1. 1 is not equal to 0. I-display niya ang 3 mo na, i-display na po niya ang 3. And then increment siya by 4. So lang, in terms of this one, we call it worst scenario, no? Worst case. Kasi there's actually a lot of waste na memory consumption or repetition because this one is going to repeat the process up 10 times. This one right here is only 5 times. And then ang goal lang naman nila they say to display the odd number. Okay? So that's it for that. If something like there's in a condition inside of a loop. Okay? Also, another one is an if a while loop with if uh, with 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 something like input statement. So let's say for an instance we have num, or let's say yeah, so we have x and then you have input. So basically this is what we will do. So you have here x is less than or equal to, let's say 5 lang, and then we will use the input statement to, so let's start with 1. And then input is, let's say, integer dot parse int j option pane dot show input dialog. uh, and then we ask the user to enter a number. Ayan. And then, ato na siyang ibaba gamay so that you have a better view on it. And then after that, we are going to get the sum of the values entered, okay, based on the 5 integers. And then we are going to also pwede nato siya i-display ang values using the hold, because again we are using input dialog, so dapat we have to have a parang we have to get the values entered previously para we are able to give the user what are those values that are entered. So this time, let's increment the value of x by 1, and let's have sum plus equals to the value of, instead of x, this time we are going to paste our value in the input. And then after that, you can now say j option pane that show message dialog null the sum. Okay, so pwede natin the sum is, so I'm gonna show you later on what's the difference between with hold and without hold. So, syempre wala kayong magunitan, luoy ka, single ka, bitaw. Okay, so let's get to run this one. Let's input some values. Let's say 12, 5, 6, 19, 10, or 100. So the sum is 142. So this is now the problem with input statements, particularly the option pane, kasi you don't have the parang I mean, for transparency, you don't have that one because your program doesn't have something like what are those numbers that are entered? Why is it 42? At least you give the reasons why you love him or her. Bitaw, you give a reason why is it 142? What are those numbers or integers pala that are entered? So basically, that's the purpose of hold. So what we do here is you have here hold plus equals input. So this will concatenate again. So this will concatenate the inputs. Okay, so it's going to be like enter siya og 3, i-concatenate niya next 4, and then 7, i-concatenate na po niya siya to hold. And then what we are going to do here is we can have here, let's say, another output statement. Then we have here the hold. So, pwede na to siya ibutang the entered integers are, or pwede na po wala, the sum is sum. And then, if you run the program, you will have it right here. Let's say 12, 34, 5, 23, and then 19. So, the sum is 93. That's the output of 14. And then the sum is these are the entered integers 12, 34, 5, 23, and 19. So there's validation. So which is you can now validate either the sum is really 93 based on these inputs. Okay. You can actually put a backslash n right here. You can have also like plus sign, and then you do, instead of having this one, you can have like uh, hold equals something like sum. So let's try to look to run this one. I mean, let's run the program. So 12, 34, 100, 7, and then 8. So the sum is 161. That's the 14. That's the line 14. Ano, and then this one right here is 12 plus 34 plus 100 plus 7 plus 8 is going to be 161. Yun. So that's the end. Now that's the end of my discussion on while loop. So I hope you have learned something from today. So again, I would like to uh, repeat that if it's going, if you try to, I mean, you don't stop from here. Now you have to keep on writing and writing and writing programs. And part also is you have to read and read and read. So reading and writing should be a combination to become a good programmer. Actually, it would be better if you practice yourself reading first the program on what is the output, and then compare it before you run your program. Compare your output to the output of the computer, and eventually, if you are able to beat the computers or the compiler, then uh, that's a good point. That's a good thing for you. No, it's because you are now a match to our compiler. Okay, so thank you guys for watching this tutorial, and have a great day, and see you guys around to our next session. Bye bye.